Greetings to you from Dove River Church all the way over in East Anglia. Who's ever been to East Anglia before? Any clue where it is? Yeah, a few people. Yeah, not many. It's a nice part of the country. You should try and head that way. It's so great to be with you. Who was here last time that I spoke? Yeah. Does anyone remember what it was about? Yeah, here we go. So yeah, it was all about blood. I think it was coming up to Halloween, so it was the anti-Halloween sermon, as it were. But the exciting stuff this morning is actually we're going to be talking about a little bit about vomit. So if you're a bit kind of squeamish, you might want to look. I've actually got some. Yeah. So I've got some there. It's not real, so don't worry. I've not been like going around to the local interesting spots and asking for samples. So but we're going to be talking about vomit, but it's also we're going to be talking about oil. So we've got some oil as well. So it's title this morning is Vomit and Oil at the End of the World. Okay. Now, I did speak to somebody yesterday, and they said they've never heard anybody speak about vomit before in church. So, this is a first time for you all. I hope you get something from this. But there's a couple of key verses, though, for us. So we're going to be in Proverbs 26, verse 11. I'll read that one out. We're not going to spend a lot of time there, but I'll read that one out for you. Proverbs 26, verse 11. As a dog returns to its vomit. There we go. Blech. Blech. Excuse me, sorry. So a fool repeats his folly. So that's going to be one of our verses for today. But we're mainly going to be in Matthew 25. It's a bit of a nicer one. But we'll read Matthew 25 later. So, but yeah, we're going to start off though with a bit of a story. So I was at home on a Thursday. I'm very blessed now. I only work 3 days a week. So that's cool, and I get to work for the church, volunteer for the church, so other times. But I was at home, and I had a knock on the door, and there was a guy and a lady out there from the Jehovah's Witnesses who'd come to see me and come to chat with me, and he was like, I've come. I want to talk to you about everything that's going on in the world at the moment. All the bad stuff that's going on. There's wars, and then there's all this other stuff, and then there's all these other things, and then there's all this other bad stuff. And I don't think he actually used the word pestilence, but he might as well have done. When someone uses the word pestilence, something serious is going on. Pestilence, wow, a bit kind of. So it's all kind of all this stuff about all the things that are going on, and then it's like and that's why. That's why you need Jesus. I was like, well, good news for you. I've already got Jesus. But it was all very much kind of like the end is nigh. We're doomed. Who remembers Dad's Army? Can anyone give me an impression of Fraser? Doomed. That's very high, wasn't it? Doomed. We're all doomed. The end is nigh. I think I might get this wrong, but the Jehovah's Witnesses have a publication called The Watchtower as well. So they've got a bit of thing going on about keeping watch for Jesus' return. So it got me thinking about this. I actually came away from the conversation quite depressed. I was like, I've got Jesus, but I'm feeling pretty bad right now, especially watching out for that pestilence. You always got to watch out for that. One of my favourite words. I didn't realise I was going to say pestilence quite so much this morning, but anyway, these things happen. But never mind. But yeah, does the Bible call us to watch for Jesus' return? So we're going to read in Matthew 25. So if you've got your Bible with you, turn to Matthew 25. Or if you've got it on your phone, or if you're like Rich and you're just checking what the football scores are. By the way, Ipswich and Norwich are playing as of right now. So can you give me some updates? Give me some updates. Ipswich, Norwich. I'm an Ipswich fan, so they're playing their bitter rivals Norwich as right now, probably losing. So if you give me a score shout out, we want to make sure we get the priorities in the right order this morning. They're winning 1-0. Oh, praise the Lord. Matthew 25. Sorry, got distracted by football. I do apologise. Yeah. Wow. Getting heckled. It's okay. I don't mind being heckled. It's okay. So Matthew 25. I'm going to read from my version. It's the NIV version. It's the parable of the 10 virgins. But more heckling going on, I think, there. But let's carry on. At that time, the kingdom of heaven will be like 10 virgins who took their lamps and went out to meet the bridegroom. 5 of them were foolish and 5 were wise. The foolish ones took their lamps but did not take any oil with them. The wise, however, took oil in jars along with their lamps. The bridegroom was a long time in coming, and they all became drowsy and fell asleep. Pretty much like by the time I'm about half an hour into this, you probably will be as well. So make sure your lamps are all ready. At midnight, the cry rang out, "Here is the bridegroom! Come out to meet him!" Then all the virgins woke up and trimmed their lamps. The foolish ones said to the wise, "Give us some of your oil. Our lamps are going out." "No," they replied. "There may not be enough for both of us and you. Instead, go to those who sell oil and buy some for yourselves." But while they were on their way to buy oil, the bridegroom arrived. The virgins who were ready went in with him to the wedding banquet, and the door was shut. Later, the others also came. "Sir, sir," they said, "open the door for us." But he replied, "I tell you the truth, I don't know you. Therefore, keep watch, because you do not know the day or the hour." Also in Matthew 24, just before that, Jesus says, "Watch out that no one deceives you." He also says, "Therefore keep watch, because you do not know on what day your Lord will come. But," he says, in Matthew 24, he says, and when Jesus says "but," you have to pay attention. There's a pivot or a shift in the narrative going on. You should pay attention to Jesus' "but." Oh no, sorry, that came out a bit wrong. But you should pay attention to what Jesus is saying after he says "but." Sorry, just let that sink in for a moment, what just happened. He says, "But understand this. If the house owner had known what time, he would have kept watch and not let his house be broken into. So you must be ready, because you do not know what hour he will come." And he also tells another story. "Then there is a wicked servant in charge of the household who treats the other servants badly." And it says eventually that servant who treats the others badly will be cut to pieces when the master surprises him by returning. Now, I don't know about you, but sometimes when you're kind of listening and you're reading all this kind of stuff, and I was listening to what the Jehovah's Witnesses got, and you kind of feel it's quite a negative thing, isn't it? It's quite a disgust. You kind of feel a bit kind of fearful. And when we get a bit fearful, there's a couple of things that usually happen, but the main one is we start to hide away. We start to put ourselves into a bit of a trapped situation. We start to think about the things that are going on outside of like you're living in a bunker, things that are going on outside in the world. It could be like you come to church and you're like, "It feels safe in here, but when I go out there, all this bad stuff's going to be happening, all these wrong things are going to be happening." We start to get that kind of sense of fear and anxiety that's coming along. And when we're kind of in that situation where we're focusing on the things, like it says I might get cut up by the master when he suddenly returns. You kind of take things out of context. You're like, "Oh, that's not the Jesus I thought I signed up for." And in that kind of moment, in your own headspace, you can start thinking all the negative things. All the negative things start to become the thing at the top of your mind, the thing that you're thinking about the most. In fact, Mark spoke about this yesterday. Stole most of what I'm going to say, Mark, but, appreciate that. But he's speaking about the negative things. Those negative things just bring into us all negative thoughts. We start to think of things in the wrong way. And if you're trapped and you can't get out, you actually don't have any access to food. So all you end up having is what you've already had. Oh, there's more splash than I thought it would be. But that was a little bit like what it was when I finished chatting with the JW guys. I was like, "Oh man, my life is terrible, and all these bad things are going to happen, and everything's going to go horribly wrong." So we might respond with fear, if we have a keep watch mentality that is focused on all those outward things. So if you read all those passages there, Matthew 24, 25, and other places also in the Bible as well, and you just focus on the horrible stuff, wars, rumors of wars. Jesus talks about all sorts of stuff that we might get absolutely fixated on. All this horrible stuff is going to happen. And then it all becomes a little bit like we're just trapped in this situation. We're just on the same stuff over and over again. Or I will clean that up later. But that's what it can be when our mindset is in the wrong place. When we're looking at the negative stuff, we're just trapped in that position. And sometimes it's because we haven't actually cultivated a different lifestyle. So we've become a Christian maybe, and then we just go back to the same old stuff over and over again. What they say about the dogs, though, when they actually go back to their vomit, there's a couple of things that are going on. One, they say, is actually a survival tactic. So if their dog is ill, they're actually trying to clean up the evidence of their sickness because they're actually might be under threat from another predator or something like that. So they're actually trying to clean up their mess. And isn't like that us sometimes? We're like, I've done that, but I'll just clean that up out of the way and no one will ever know that anything like that ever happened. The devil can't actually see what's going on in your head. He actually needs to see the outworking of your sin in order to start to trap you. He'll actually see you kind of go, oh, well, that's what I can use to trap you because I've seen it now. The other thing that they talk about is that actually when their dogs were younger, maybe their parents would be regurgitating food for them. I mean, let's just stop for a moment. I've said vomit, regurgitation, and pestilence probably many times so far. So, but they're actually regurgitating the food. So for us, sometimes it can be like we're still on the stuff from our mother. We're like on the milk. We never moved on to the solid food. So we're still kind of bound up in those situations. When we see all this stuff that's going to be happening, that's going to come in the future that Jesus talks about, we can focus on it in the negative. But there's good news. Is everyone happy that there's good news? Yeah? That's good. Just checking you're all still awake. Jesus didn't speak about the end times to fill us with fear. He did speak about it to give us a few warnings to help us recognize certain things that were going to be happening. But he says clearly to not worry. In Luke 21, he's actually talking about the same things. He says, but make up your mind not to worry beforehand. And that's that but again. But make up your mind not to worry beforehand. Jesus said that such things, the end times things, such things must happen. There is some guidance on, making sure you're not deceived and things like that. But it's not like he said, right, you guys now go into your watchtower, go into your tower, a bit like Rapunzel, looking out and going, can you see anything coming yet? No, can't see anything coming yet. We've all got our Jesus is coming, look busy t-shirts ready. Is there anything on the horizon? I can't see anything, can't see anything. So what is actually Jesus calling us to watch for in these verses? This is where our oil comes in. But I've got something here, very exciting. It's a little oil lamp. Can you see that? This actually was dug up from Egypt somewhere, and it's apparently quite old. But there's also a little song, isn't there? Give me oil in my lamp, keep me burning. Come on, let's go. Give me oil in my lamp, I pray. Give me oil in my lamp, keep me burning. Keep me burning till the break of day. Hey, sing Hosanna, sing Hosanna, sing Hosanna to the King of Kings. Sing Hosanna, sing Hosanna, sing Hosanna to the King. Yeah. Well, there we go. We should have done that one this morning as well. That one also can get faster as well. Give me your oil in my lamp, keep me burning. Give me your oil in my lamp, I pray. Give me your oil in my lamp, keep me burning till the break of day. Sing Hosanna, sing Hosanna, sing Hosanna to the King of Kings. Sing Hosanna, sing Hosanna, sing Hosanna to the King of Kings. There we go. Yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah, okay. Where is MCJ Messi? Anyway, that's a different topic. But turn to your neighbour and say, keep watch for what? Keep watch for what? I've always struggled with the parable of the 10 virgins, because it always felt like, the mean, wise virgins that wouldn't give the foolish ones any oil, and then they didn't get to go into heaven. And I'm like, man, that's some serious first century FOMO there. Did I get that right? Fear of FOMO, is that right? I don't know. Do they still say that these days? Do they not say that? Yeah. It's fear of missing out for those of you that, yeah. So this sort of it can be focusing on the fears, and you might then worry about yourself. You're like, well, they didn't get to go in. So what about if I don't get to go in? But if you actually read what it says in Matthew 25. It says in verse 3, the foolish ones took their lamps, but did not take any oil with them. Now, some translations say they didn't take extra oil, but actually in the King James Version it talks about there being no oil. And I think that's really important, because if they took no oil, it means that they were never going to get in anyway. All they had was one of these, but there was nothing in it. Now, I was planning actually to light some stuff today, but I thought, maybe this is better than burning the church down, but, to actually have some lamps and actually set them alight. But, if I lit that now, there's nothing in there. It's just going to go out, isn't it? So that's the key bit. They didn't take anything with them. They weren't actually saved. Maybe they thought the lamp was the key bit. This is the important bit. Everyone else seems to have got one. So, I've got one now. So surely that must be job done, isn't it? I'm ready to go in now. Maybe they know all the scriptures. They can pray using all the right words. They're at church on Sunday morning. Yeah, you guys are here. So that's good. They're part of a life group. They're wearing all the Christian merch that you possibly can. Rich, I'm looking at you. Actually, there's no merch today. What would Jesus do bracelet? Yeah. You're gonna get me back for this when you're up to see us next time, aren't you? Yeah, okay. Yeah, in 2 weeks' time. Yeah, you'll be up. Yeah, I'm busy that day. But yeah, when it comes to inside the lamp, though, there's still vomit where the oil should be. I'm not going to put vomit in that, because it's ancient, this thing. So what is Jesus asking us to keep watch over? It's to keep watch over our inner selves. It's to keep watch over what's inside. Let the things on the outside happen. Let everything outside of these walls, everything that's going on in the world happen. Jesus said it will happen. Don't worry about it. But let's keep a watch of our inner selves. He says about the servant who beat the other servants whilst the master was away. That's somebody who's not acting right whilst Jesus is away. But we also need a bit of context as well to this parable. So we're in Matthew 25 with the parable of the 10 virgins. You've got Matthew 24 where it talks about some of the signs of the end of the age. And then Matthew 23, Jesus is having a little bit of a go at some guys called the Pharisees. He liked to do that. It's the 7 woes, he says. There's a couple of the woes in there that I just want to have a look at. They're in Matthew 23. in verse 25. It says, "Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You clean the outside of the cup and dish, but inside they are full of greed and self-indulgence. Blind Pharisee, first clean the inside of the cup and the dish, and then the outside will also be clean. Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You are like whitewashed tombs, which look beautiful on the outside, but on the inside are full of dead men's bones and everything unclean. In the same way, on the outside you appear to people as righteous, but on the inside you are full of hypocrisy and wickedness." So that's what Jesus has just been in that condition, and then in that discussion point, and then his disciples come to him and talk about the ends of the age. He was probably quite annoyed at that point, so he gave him everything really at that point. But actually, he's still focused on what he's saying to the Pharisees, that on the outside, everything looks good, everything looks great, but on the inside, it's unclean. So what are the good things of God? What is the oil that we need to have? So this stuff you can see is a lot nicer, isn't it? If I asked you to drink either one of these, I think we'd all know which one we'd choose. But we've got love, we've got joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, anything excellent or praiseworthy. Let that be inside us. So don't let the drama of the world, the illnesses, vomit, pestilence, don't let it distract you. Don't let the news distract you, the rumors of wars, actual wars, horrible things that people are doing to each other. Let's be filled with the oil of the Holy Spirit, the goodness of God. And when you become a Christian, that's what you get. You get the oil. It's not like I worry sometimes about, well, am I maintaining the oil correctly? Have I got the correct kind of oil? Have I got the correct amount of oil that is required between now and the time at which I, may meet Jesus and all this kind of stuff? But actually, the key bit is to have that oil in your lamp. There's a story in the Bible. Luke, there he is. Luke 23. Turn to Luke 23. But just thinking about how this, you've got this lamp now, so you're a Christian, you've filled it with oil, and you kind of feel like, well, I've got to now maintain it, I've got to make sure I've got enough. I think to live a godly life, you do. But in terms of understanding your position, in terms of, are you going to be known at the end when you knock on the door and the bridegroom says, I know you or I don't know you? There's a fantastic story in Luke 23, which is actually as Jesus is being crucified. Starting in verse 39. It says, one of the criminals who hung there hurled insults at him. Aren't you the Christ? Save yourself and us. But the other criminal rebuked him. Don't you fear God, he said, since you are under the same sentence. We are punished justly, for we are getting what our deeds deserve. But this man has done nothing wrong." Then he said, "Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." And Jesus answered him, "I tell you the truth, today you will be with me in paradise." So if you're worried about, how do I maintain, how am I going to always be in the good side and never in this side? That is always going to be a battle for us. That's the reality of it. But the good news is that this guy here, you imagine when this guy, the criminal next to me, he died that day and he gets up to heaven. And the angel's like, "Oh, you're a bit of a late addition onto this list. Have you been following Jesus all your life?" And like, "No, I just met him a couple of moments ago, actually, to be honest." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Have you been baptized?" Is that Jesus calling? Or is that the football score? What's the football score? Oh, distracted. It was going so well. It was going really well. It was going to be a BAFTA winning moment in this sermon. No, it's fine. It's fine. So it's like, have you been baptized? No, I... And cut. Scene. Yes. It's good. Everybody, can you just check that you got your phones all on silent here? Yeah, there we go. Good. I'm just checking mine, That sort of sounded like my ringtone for a minute. I was panicking. 2-1. 2, Ipswich. Sometimes the Lord makes it easy to be in the good side, if we were losing, I might be, "Oh, Ipswich are losing. Oh." No carrots, I'm afraid. No. Oh, wow. I don't know how we recover from this. Oh, yeah. And what's my motivation? I need to understand, right? Have you been baptized? No, I'm not sure what that is. Well, what about an Alpha course? Have you done one of them? No, I've just been busy stealing things. Pretty much. Well, okay. Have you ever helped out at the food bank? No, I've walked along a riverbank a few times. How are you here? And he's like, "I don't know any of those things, but the man in the middle said I could come." Amen. So imagine you're nailed to a cross. We're not going to do that because, that would be horrible. But your body is screaming out with pain. You know you're going to die. There's no way out of this situation. Everything that you are could be just focused on what's going on in the earthly realm, yeah? So all the pain, everything that's going on, the fact that you're there, and this is it for you. But actually in that moment, this guy took action. He proclaimed who Jesus was in front of everyone. He spoke up. The other man was caught up in his earthly situation. He didn't see what he needed on the inside. Matthew 10 says, "Whoever denies me before men, I will also deny before my Father who is in heaven." It also says, "Everyone who acknowledges me before others, I will also acknowledge before my Father in heaven." That's why it's important. If you become a Christian today, don't hide it away. Tell everybody, because you're actually acknowledging who Christ is and who he is in your life now. The foolish virgin was like, look at our lamps. We've got our lamps. But they couldn't shine because they didn't have any oil. And don't ask Christians for oil. I mean, we're all nice people, and we can help you, but it's ask Christ for it. Ask Christ for those things, the good things to be in your life. So if you're a Christian this morning, you're already ready. Are you already ready? Yeah? Can you say already ready really fast? Yeah, okay, that's good. Good. Already ready. So when it comes to the time and you're rushing in there and you're like, I've got my lamp, it's got some oil in it. Yeah, I'm here. And the bridegroom's like, hey, I know you. You've got my spirit inside you. You're welcome.